Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Rakestraw Boys. I want to ask you something real quick. Have you ever shot a deer and it not pile up where it stood? Now, you're out there in the dark, blood trailing, flashlight in your hand, hoping that you don't bump into the next county. And now, people are calling up recovery services, paying guys with thermal drones to come out and find their animal for them. I get it, those services work. But now, you're waiting on somebody else's schedule, hoping they're available, hoping that your deer is still there when they show up. What if, instead of all that, you didn't need any of it? What if you were your own recovery operation? $359. That's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get after it. Now, before we get into it, full transparency, GOYOJO did send out this product for a review. But y'all help a man out by trusting what I say. I'm not going to waste your time with something that doesn't hold up in the real world. So here's what we're dealing with. This is the GOYOJO G210 10mm fixed focus lens, 256 by 192 thermal sensor, IP65 weatherproof rating, and it sits at $359. GOYOJO does make a G215 version with a longer 15mm lens at $449. I haven't personally run that one, but I'll tell you at the end of this video who it's for and whether that extra $90 makes sense for you or not. Right now, let's get into the G210. Let's get down to brass tacks. Out of the box, the first thing I noticed is that this thing is fairly small. We're talking about a unit that could possibly fit in your vest pocket, coming in at 345 grams. That matters at 4 o'clock in the morning when you're loading up in the cold and you're trying to keep everything in your pack pretty tight. Every ounce matters when you're already carrying your bow, you're already carrying your rifle, your rangefinder, your scents, your attractants, your calls. The last thing that you need in the woods is another piece of heavy gear hanging around your neck. Build quality, it feels solid, IP65. That means rain, splashes, muddy condition. It's built to handle it. Y'all know what hunting in the winter looks like. You need gear that ain't gonna quit when the weather turns ugly, and this piece of equipment right here is gonna check that box for you. The battery is a 3200 milliamp hour rechargeable lithium ion. GOYOJO claims that you're gonna get about 6 hours of battery life. I'll tell you exactly what I got out in the field with this here in a minute. It also charges via USB-C, and that personally is a big deal to me. No proprietary charger nonsense. One cable, that's it. It has a built-in 16 gigabytes of storage, and it will record MP4 video and JPGs directly on the device. And to be able to recover that footage, all that you'll have to do is plug in a USB-C and you're set, which means you're documenting everything out in the field without any need of extra gear. No GoPro, no phone mount. This unit will handle it itself. On a side note though, it does not record audio. Okay, so the sensor, 256 by 192 resolution. Vanadium oxide uncooled detector, 12 micron pixel size. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does any of that actually mean in the real world? What it means is that smaller pixel size gives you a sharper, cleaner image than sensors running bigger pixels at the same resolution. You're getting better thermal definition at distance. And for a unit at this price point, I believe that matters. Detection range on paper. The G210 detects a deer at 944 meters. A vehicle-sized target out to 2,500 meters. Now, as hunters, we're not ranging out to 900 meters. But what that range capability tells you is that there is serious headroom in this sensor. You're not going to be running it at the edge of its ability, scanning a food plot at 200 yards. You have got room to spare. 6 color palettes. White hot, black hot, red hot, rainbow, iron red, or low light. Here's my honest take for what matters when you go hunting. Red hot is my go-to. 80% of the time, that's what you're gonna end up wanting. There's a clean contrast between a warm animal and a cold background. Now, black hot is useful if you've got ambient light washing things out. But red hot, if you're tracking a deer that's been moving, that red hot signature tracks out real hard against that landscape. You're not guessing where that animal went. Now, the rest of those modes, white hot, rainbow, iron, are more useful for inspection work or search and rescue. But there are features that go along with the G210 if you want them. One more thing I want to point out. Picture-in-picture is supported in this unit. You keep your wide field of view and then you get your zoom of the target all in one. That's pretty underrated for hunting. You're not losing your peripheral while you're trying to confirm it what you're looking at. All right, now, enough of me rambling in the crow's nest about numbers. Let me show you a quick demonstration of what I think is the most important aspect of this thermal monocular. What you're seeing right here is a real-time change between cold to hot water on my sink. Here's the idea that I want to propose to you. When this water turns hot, it will start to glow red. When it glows red, I will take a cup, put it underneath the sink, let the red fill up the cup. And then what I will do is I will take this cup outside and I will toss the contents of the cup onto the ground to simulate what warm blood will look like with the red hot heat signature. And when I do, it's very obvious that we now have a blood trail that we can track. Now, to further bring my point home, I found one of our cows in the field laying down at about 100 yards. It was impossible to see it because it was about 12 o'clock at night. But what I want you to see is the fact that I'm 100 yards away from that animal, which is laying down, which simulates what a deer, kind of what the shape of a deer would look like in the woods. And notice that from that distance, this monocular has no point in pointing out that thermal signature. That right there is not $350 worth of performance. That is a $1,000 thermal doing work in a $359 thermal body. Now, in heavy timber and in clutter, that's going to take your visibility off a little bit on the GOYOJO. And that's not a knock on the product, that's just simply physics. Thermal needs a line of sight, and you're not going to see through a ridge. You will still have to be proactive in how you use this thermal monocular. But on the edge of a food plot, along a creek bottom, and going into the woods right after it turns dark, and you're transitioning from flashlight and blood trailing to thermal signatures, this is going to be all you need. Now, as for the battery life, I got about 4.5 hours and it's still on 3 bars. And to be honest with you, packing it out for a full day of hunting, that's going to be every bit of what you need. You're not going to be running this unit for 6 straight hours. You're going to be pulling this out at key moments. Before first light, after a shot, and during recovery. This battery is going to hold up where it counts. Now, I want to show you this Wi-Fi app feature because this one actually kind of surprised me a little bit. It connects to your phone. Real-time thermal feed on your screen. If you're hunting with a partner and you're both sitting in a blind, instead of passing the unit back and forth, making noise, your partner sees what you see on their phone. That's legitimately useful, and I don't think enough people are talking about that. All right, now, I want to tell you the real reason I said yes when GOYOJO reached out to me. And it's not the color palettes, it's not the spec sheets, it's this. Nobody wants to wound an animal. That's not the goal. That's never been the goal. But when you hunt long enough, crossbow season, rifle season, it's gonna happen. It's an accident. And when that deer doesn't pile up where it stood, you've got a decision to make. You can blood trail, hands and knees in the dark, flashlight out, following a drop of blood every 10 yards, hoping and praying that you're going the right direction. And then there's the risk of bumping it. And you're also hoping that you find it before the coyotes do and you lose all that meat. Or, and this is where I'm going, you could pull out this unit and walk into the woods yourself. Thermal drone recoveries are becoming a thing, and they work. Guys will fly a drone over your property to find a heat signature for you. But here's what that looks like in practice. You shoot a deer. It runs. You're not sure of the hit. Now you're on the phone. They gotta drive out. Might be an hour, might be 2 hours. And every minute that animal's out there, you're burning time. Coyotes don't wait, temperature don't wait, and meat don't wait. With this G210 at your hip, you don't have to make that phone call. You walk into the woods yourself. You're scanning for a heat signature that's piled up in the timber. And an animal that's been down a while is still throwing a heat signature. And this unit's gonna pick it up. And the biggest part is, you're not blood trailing on your hands and your knees. You're walking straight to your deer. With this, you are your own recovery operation. No depending on somebody else's schedule. No awkward conversation about, hey man, are you available tonight? You bought this capability once. You own it forever. And it's going to pay for itself the first time that you recover an animal yourself that you would not have found otherwise, that you've been trailing all season long. Now, real quick, GOYOJO also makes a G215, the 15mm version at $449. I haven't personally run that one, nor am I going to pretend that I have. But here's my honest take based on the specs. If you're a whitetail hunter in timber country, working food plots, creek bottoms, close range scouting, recovery work, the G210 at $359 is going to be all you need. The fixed focus is actually a fixture in low light, high pressure moments. You pull it out, you point it, and you're on. No fumbling, no adjusting, fast and clean. The G215 makes sense if you're hunting open country, running procedures at night, doing hog work where that extra reach and manual focus earns its money. But for the majority of y'all watching this channel, the G210 is the play. Don't overthink it, guys. All right, so here's my verdict on the GOYOJO G210. Here's what I like. The price point is real. Under $400 for a thermal with this kind of detection range, IP65 waterproofing, built-in video and photo recording, Wi-Fi app, 6+ hours of battery life, and 6 color palettes. That is hard to argue that $359. The build quality holds up, the image is clean, and that recovery use case alone makes this one of the most practical things a hunter can purchase. If you've been sitting on the fence about thermals because every quality unit costs $1,000 or more, the GOYOJO 210 is your door in. And now you don't have to call anybody. Link in the description. They gave us a discount code today, guys, TRB15. That gives you 15% off on their official store. There's also an Amazon link down there if that's your preference. Leave a like and leave a comment down below and tell me, will this work better for deer hunting, hog hunting, predator hunting, search and rescue, working on houses? What's the best use application that you guys would think it would work the best for? And how would you like to use the thermal in your particular setup? I read every comment down below. Guys, if this is the first time you're watching, it's nice to meet you. If this is not the first time you're watching, it's good to see y'all again. We have a lot of things coming your way, so stay tuned until the next episode of the Rakestraw Boys. I guess we gone!